Hey, 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 it's Dr. Dawn. Welcome to Mystical Monday. I am so excited to be here with you guys. I'm excited because I have a special guest coming on with me today. She is going to be so awesome. You are going to love her. But I'm going to chit chat with you a little bit before she comes in. So let's just sit back and relax and let's listen to what I have to say while we wait for her to come in. Okay. So for those of you who are new to this channel, Discovering Your Inner Light, my name is Dr. Dawn, and I am an intuitive guide and spiritual messenger. And so what that means is I am the go-between between the spiritual realm and the physical realm. I am the one in the middle relaying messages from spirit to the collective. That's what I do on Monday nights. In my personal practices, I offer one-on-one coaching sessions. I offer spiritual guidance. I offer intuitive guidance. I offer dream interpretation and analysis. And I offer detachment and release sessions for those of you who have energetic blockages from preconditioned beliefs that you have had and held on to since childhood, AKA those childhood traumas. So I offer all of those services. And if you're interested in reading more about me and my services, you can visit my website at www.discoveringyourinnerlight.com. Okay. And so I have been doing this YouTube channel now for almost a year and a half. Hello, hello. I see you coming in the chat. And I am now adding guests to my discussions on Monday nights. I think that adds a little zest to the series because you get tired of hearing just me, right? I want you guys to hear from other people in terms of their spiritual experiences and kind of some of the things that they've gone through on their journey, because the more you hear, the more comfortable, confident, and aware that you get that you're not alone and that you are in the same type of rhythm, if you will, as the rest of us who are going through the ascension process. Okay. So you guys come on in the chat. I see people coming in. I got one hello so far. Say hey to me when you come in here so I know you're here. Like we're taking roll call. We're taking like attendance in class. And so I like to hear from you guys. And since this is a live program, I want you guys to feel comfortable asking questions, sharing comments, interacting throughout this entire hour, because I love for you to be able to ask your questions and get the immediate feedback that you need. Okay. My guest tonight is so awesome. She is so wonderful. Let me tell you, when I'm going and looking and being guided towards the guests to bring on these Mystical Mondays, spirit is always guiding me in the direction I need to go. I was guided to this young lady who's going to be coming on, and the similarities between she and I are phenomenal in terms of our experiences, our beliefs. Some of the practices and services that we offer, we're very well aligned. But she's going to add an extra piece to this tonight that's a little different from what I do. Her name is Lauren Stevenson, and she is a certified quantum healer. I'm going to let her explain to you what that is, but I know that for most people, when they hear the word quantum, they kind of freak out because quantum symbolizes not unfamiliarity, but confusion for a lot of people, because we think, oh, it's numbers and it's codes and it's above my head, or I'm not going to understand. But she's going to explain things to you where you will not only understand what a quantum healer is, but she's going to explain kind of how that fits into what she came here to do for the planet in terms of her purpose. So I am so excited to have her. She has just come in to the room. I'm going to let her in. Remember, you guys, feel free to ask questions, make comments all throughout the live, okay? Because she wants to be a vessel to transmit and share information, okay? So let me get Lauren in here and we can get going. There she is.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to be here.
Yay. So look, I was just giving you like this big introduction. I'm just like, it was good. I don't know if you heard it, if you're like watching on like your cell phone or whatever. I don't know how you want to do it, but I was talking about you and I said, I know I'm saying she's a quantum healer. You guys don't get afraid when we hear the word quantum because people freak
Yes.
out when we hear quantum. I said, she's going to explain to you kind of what a quantum healer is in layman's terms. Like you're going to do it to where they can get it, right?
Yes, absolutely. Like super simple, high level. Essentially, it's all based on the fact that everything is happening everywhere all at once, right? We perceive time on a linear perspective from a 3D construct, right? But because everything is happening everywhere all at once, you have, a 7-year-old version of yourself existing at a specific point in space time. And then you have like an 84-year-old version of yourself existing at another point in space time. And so that 7-year-old or that 4-year-old or that 9-year-old or the 21-year-old has been experiencing programs, patterns, sequencing, traumatic events that create beliefs and thought systems. And so through quantum healing, we can use your non-local awareness to travel to those different points in space-time and essentially use your now knowledge and send love and healing and reframe the programs and the patterns and the sequences that were essentially created at different points in space-time to ripple effect to your now to create positive change. And so I tell a lot of people it may sound complicated, but it's best to just trust the process, right? You may not understand exactly how the mechanics of it work, but if you trust the process and you're invested in this process, you will get to where you want to go.
Lauren, let me tell you something. Girl, your energy feels so good. Like, I don't know if the people can feel it, but y'all got to be able to feel it. Like you just came on the screen and it was just like whoosh, like this big ball of light just like came on right behind you. And I'm just listening to you, but I think I'm more feeling you than I am, listening to you so much. So I don't know. It's just, maybe it's me tapping into you, but
Thank you so much.
it's just so good.
That's the biggest compliment anyone could give me. Like, I take my energy so seriously in my energy management. I really every day work to cultivate this energy of me so I can just put myself out there and like express myself and hopefully help others while I do so. So thank you so much. That meant so much.
Yeah, for sure. So look, so let's get into you because
Yeah.
your awakening is going to be very familiar to other people because it's similar to kind of the things that we hear when people start having their awakening. And so I want to start. I've introduced the term Kundalini, but I'll let you kind of infuse that in your story of your awakening so everybody can get a good idea of kind of how it went for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this. And I think it's so relevant right now because there's such a huge wave of awakenings happening. I just see so many people coming online right now. And so I try and tell this story as much as possible so everyone can know, like, hey, you're not alone. And there is another side. Like you will get to the other side and life is good and like you'll be okay. But when I was in the middle of the process, I was like, is this going to last forever? Like, am I going to be normal ever again? Like, it was really scary.
Yeah.
My first, like the beginning of my spiritual awakening journey started in 2016 when my grandfather passed away. And this was my first real death.
I didn't know that that's how mine started when my grandmother passed away. But go ahead. I knew we were kindred spirits. I just knew it. But go ahead.
No, it happens to a lot of us. Death is like a really big like change instigator. And so this was my first real death. And prior to that, I really wasn't sensing anything bigger outside of myself. I wasn't connected to religion. I wasn't connected to any type of God. And so I was like, you know what, if there is a God out there, like he forgot me because my life sucks. And so when my grandfather passed away, this was the first time that I felt watched over and I felt his presence around me. And it's like we were closer even though like he wasn't here in the physical, and I felt like him communicating with me and guiding with me. And so this really opened up my mind to the non-physical. And, this was the beginning though. So I was still like unconsciously living, like lost in the sauce, like repeating cycle after cycle. And then 2018, I was forced to like really look at myself in the mirror, because I got arrested for a DUI.
Oh no.
I did. And then that I was court ordered to go to therapy. And that's actually how I found my amazing, amazing therapist, who is, so connected to the spiritual realm and just amazing. That really set the foundation for me. Like those 3 years set the foundation for me to really dig into my mental and emotional planes, to really look at the patterns and the behavioral mindsets that I was really carrying with me that weren't mine. And then 2021 is when my Kundalini awakened. And that was like, whew, that was an experience.
Yeah, your grandfather died in 2016. Okay. All right. And that kind of started the ball rolling.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so that began the healing process, right? The darkness into the healing. And then 2021, I truly believe my Kundalini awakened at this point, because I had laid enough groundwork of, a foundation of my mental and my emotional planes to then allow my energy to just spurt and blossom. And that's what, a Kundalini awakening is. It's a term that comes from Hinduism, and it's your Kundalini energy it lays dormant at the base of your spine. And when it's time, it then coils up your spine all the way through your head and awakens. And it really just activates your whole energetic field. And so when that happened to me, it's like my soul knew what was going on, but like my mind, there was so much fear and lack and just darkness that like, it was a lot, it sent me to the ER. I thought something was wrong. I was like,
so you went to the ER because you were feeling pain or discomfort?
Yeah, it felt like this heat, like tingling sensation underneath my skin. Like that was one of them. Like the first thing I noticed, I remember this day vividly. I was laying on the couch, and like, we have like stuff moving through our body all the time, but we're kind of unconscious to it. We don't really think about it. I was laying on the couch, and I felt like every single like cell and molecule moving around in my body. Like physically I felt it. And not only that, I could feel like the cells and the molecules of the tree outside, and like the wind. I could feel the wind from like inside my apartment. And then it felt, I just could feel the vibration, like the energy of everything. And I could feel myself like melting into this like fabric of oneness. And it was like so much overstimulation for my nervous system, my mental body, my emotional body. And then what really sent me to the ER was this like heat tingling sensation all under my skin, my whole body. That was the one where I was like, okay, something's not right. I need to go in. Of course, run all the tests. Nothing's wrong. Everything's fine. I knew what was going on a soul level. I just didn't necessarily want to accept it, because I think from a soul level, I knew how much more work I was going to have to do to get through this part of the process. But once it's open, once it's activated, you can't go back. You can't unsee. So,
well, you mentioned something though, because you said that was the first time. Like, be clear. And I think what you're wanting everybody to know is, now you experienced this initial Kundalini awakening, but as you are going through your activation, your DNA activations, you're going to experience some similar maybe things as well, right? That may make you want to go to the hospital.
Oh yeah. It's not just this one-time thing.
Right.
This is, I still feel everything now. But now that I have a handle on my energy management, and I have, I'm grounded in me and grounded in my energy routines, my physical routines, mental and emotional routines, it's not so much. But like when you are like at the beginning phase, especially when we have these like energy spikes coming into the planet, when the Schumann is spiking, when you're around a lot of different people that have like dense emotions, you're going to feel all of this stuff, right? You might get an upset stomach. You might be waking up in the middle of the night. You might not be able to eat the foods that you used to eat. You might, your body is going to start changing. Like some people like note that they start physically looking different. So it just all depends on your body. And there's not going to be like this one size fit all solution that will help you get through. But I think my top 3 tips would be like ground, cleanse your energy, and protect your energy. Spiritual hygiene is just a must, especially if you're a newbie, newly awakening. Grounding your energy to make sure you're not like this live wire, right? That's like flailing around life, just like not centered in you, will help you kind of navigate the confusion and the up and down emotional roller coaster that awakening is already, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then cleansing your energy, you're gonna want a hermit mode and like be away from people for sure. Like once you awaken, I think especially your Kundalini, you're just so energetically sensitive to what's around you. And you're just naturally going to be putting yourself in positions where you have more alone time. And if you don't, the universe will do it for you.
Well, let me ask you something, because you mentioned not only did you go to the emergency room, but you said you actually participated in therapy, right? And so I want to touch on that, because so many people, you're offering a perspective that I haven't really talked a lot about because it wasn't my experience. But when you were seeking out a therapist, did you know what you were looking for? Did you know you were looking for somebody who was versed in like spirituality, or how did that work? Or were you just guided spiritually to the person?
I was just guided. And like every point in my life, I can look back and say, like, I genuinely was guided. There were no accidents. I landed exactly where I was meant to. But for someone who's like at the beginning of their path and intentionally looking for a therapist, I would say definitely find someone who understands the spiritual world, understands the energetic world. I was so lucky that my therapist is grounded in spirituality. She could validate my perspectives, right? She understood what was going on, right? Because if you end up with someone who doesn't really understand that world, you're going to feel gaslit. You're going to feel misunderstood. You're going to feel like you're going crazy, right? You may be put on medication that you don't need, right? You just won't, your human experience will not be validated. And so if someone's in that situation now, I think that's where someone like me comes in, like a healer, because we can work in tandem. Like, I think my kind of healing works really well when combined with a therapist, right? You're working on all 4 of your dimensions that way. And so someone like me definitely is grounded in the spiritual realm, can validate and help navigate and guide you through, this energetic plane, and is more well versed in spiritual concepts than like a normal therapist would be. So, if you guys out there have therapists and you aren't feeling validated by them, that's somewhere where you can look at investing into working with me, someone who can help guide and navigate you. But luckily, I had an amazing experience with her. And like, I've been going to her for 5 years now, still go all the time. And I also luckily was guided to my own spiritual mentor right when my Kundalini awakened. And it's so funny because, again, I wasn't searching or looking. She came into my existence right at the right time. And so the other thing that I would say is, like, if you guys are worried at all about anything working out, like, everything is divinely guided. Everything is so planned. It's just, there's no doubt in my mind, because everything has just come into my life at the exact right time.
Perfect. I mean, you, and for those of you who are just coming into the chat, I mentioned that this is open forum. So if you have questions or comments, like, please feel free to put them in the chat and we'll address them as we go. So you guys can talk if you like, and I'll get to it when I see it. But I'm glad that you kind of hit that, because a lot of people, the common question is, how can you tell the difference if you're having like a spiritual awakening, or you're having like a breakdown, or it's cycle, because it's the line is so thin.
Oh yeah.
And so for you to find someone, a professional that knew that line and could address it like that's awesome. That is wonderful, because it hasn't been my experience. I've often told people, you're probably not going to get it the traditional route by going to a traditional therapist. But see, look, you just disproved my whole thought process by something you did.
Absolutely. I think everyone's journey is different too, right? Like, it was clearly part of my soul's blueprint to go to therapy, right? And I've always been drawn to like psychology and mental concepts as well. Like, I was super interested in psychology. I minored in psychology in college. And so it was in my soul blueprint to find a therapist who was grounded in the physical and the spiritual. But again, like for some others, you might just want to work with a healer or a Reiki master or a spiritual mentor. I think whatever support is destined to come to you will come to you, and it'll be exactly what you need in that moment.
And you guys, I didn't mention, but Lauren she is a Reiki master, right? Like you also, she does Reiki as well. I left that part out. We must address that and make sure, she's covering energy in every facet, actually, which is so cool, which is great. Since we're talking about energy, and you brought up the Schumann resonance, because everybody was talking about that last week. I wasn't just talking about it, I was feeling it. I was just like, okay.
Oh yeah.
Now, you know what? When I was you mentioned something when I talked to you a little earlier. You were talking about how we are pushing out the last of the Ascension symptoms. And so let's get into the Schumann resonance. Like, first of all, like what is the Schumann resonance for those who are not familiar with what the heck that is? I always say it's the frequency of the planet, but you can probably give it a better,
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a tool. You can find it on nasa.gov. It essentially measures Earth's electromagnetic frequency, right? And the electromagnetic sphere with the solar weather. And it's essentially the way that a lot of spiritual creators use it is like, it'll show spikes in energy. And I can pull up the graph too in a little bit, but it'll show different spikes of energy when Earth's frequency and its amplitude is increased. And so a lot of the time what I've found is, and before I even knew about this, I was feeling all different like kinds of crazy things in my body, right? I would feel like the heat and warming up and the tingling, right? Or I'd feel like shaking or like rumbling or like almost like energy like being pushed out of me, or energy coming into my vessel, right? And then, as I started to get more involved in TikTok, I saw a lot of creators posting about it, and I would see this correlation like, okay, there's a blast coming in and I'm feeling this. This is crazy. And that's when I started to, follow it more and really see a lot of correlation between what I was feeling and what the charts were showing. And so what just happened over the past 2 weeks is the amplitude spiked to this crazy number, like 190, like a number that I had never seen before. Yes. And it was showing this wild, like geometric pattern, almost like sacred geometry or like DNA. It was crazy. Like, this was not a normal reading. And what I was feeling in my body was just magical, like beautiful frequencies that I had never felt before. I
saw that someone last week did like an overlay of the frequency and DNA strands to show how it was like almost identical.
It was wild. I had never seen anything like that before. It was going viral all over social media. Like, there were so many different people talking about it. There were so many narratives too. Like, I saw that a big narrative that kind of like caught steam it was just resetting, and it was like they were doing maintenance on it and it wasn't real and like all this stuff. And then a lot of people were saying like this was the point where we ascended into 5D. There are a lot of different theories around it. Me personally, I think what I would say is when it comes to tools, right? Like they're just that. They're tools that will help you come to your own conclusions by tuning back into you and listening to your body. No matter whether it was, a tool malfunction or galactic sending energies into the planet, like all I know is like I felt stuff in my body. And so I know whatever was coming in was real. And like what I felt was an immense like sense of love and gratitude and resistance being released from the collective, and things just like smoothing out and becoming just a little bit easier for every single person on this planet, no matter where we are at our journey. And that frequency has continued to pour in every day. And so I definitely felt some kind of shift there.
Absolutely. Solo Star 12 says, Dr. Dawn, I don't smoke or drink, and I felt the air hard to breathe. Could that be a symptom? Yes.
Absolutely. Oh,
for
absolutely.
sure, for sure. Because there is no one symptom, for everybody's body, you guys, everybody's body is holding different experiences, DNA structures. Like we're all kind of different. Nobody's alike in any respect. So where you were having difficulty breathing, I was having a little fatigue. What were you were you feeling anything?
I was super tired the week leading up to that crazy like print frequency on the I believe that was the 18th or the 19th. So when it peaked around 120 is when I shared my podcast about it, because that was a number I hadn't seen before. And I was exhausted. And then a week later it had gotten to 190, and that's when I was like energized. And so it was like this up and down situation. No matter what you're feeling, like you might be feeling one thing one second and something else the other second. And I think anything that you are feeling from a physical level is energy clearing, right? It's like maybe you're holding something dense in your lungs, right? We hold a lot of grief and fear in our lungs and in our heart space, our chest area. And so when we are elevating our frequency to this place where those things can't necessarily exist within us anymore, we might feel them like clearing from our vessel. And so I think it's a good sign feeling anything leaving or coming in.
See, Solo Star, that was for you. She gave you a little bit more in-depth explanation. That's perfect to note, because that's what it is, you guys. That's what's happening. You're clearing, and you're experiencing kind of like the aftermath of the clearing of things. And so Intuitive Warrior says, she's also a healer. She says, we are all being called to task right now to heal others, but focus within as well, which we're going to talk about that too after we do a little bit more of this Schumann, because she and I talked a little bit about that too, when you're called to heal, but then you still got to remember that you're here to have your experience too. So it gets a little foggy sometimes.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's see. You have the Schumann diagram for us to look at, and so we're going to show you kind of what she was talking about how when the numbers got up and how the pattern like it's never looked before. I think I gave you access. I think.
Let's see. Yeah, I think you have to make me the host for a second, and then I'll share my screen.
Okay, so now that we're live, it doesn't give me that option. It actually says multiple participants can share simultaneously.
Oh, perfect. Yep, I think I see it.
So you should be good, I think, right?
Perfect. Yep, it's letting me there. Okay, let's see here. Can everyone see that?
There we go. Yeah, we can see it now.
Yeah. I mean, this was wild. This was, I woke up and I was like, oh, this is it. Like, this is here. Like if you look at the top there, those look like timelines to me, high frequency timelines, those like straight lines.
Yeah.
And the DNA strands on the bottom right there. And if you actually look to the left, like that normal looking part at the beginning, that's what it normally looks like. Like
Oh my
this
gosh.
is, yes. So to wake up and see that, I was like, I've never seen anything like that before. Because if anything, high frequency light, like if you look over to the beginning of this photo, will come in just like a light strand like that, you know? And so for something to form this shape, form this pattern, it seems extraordinary to me. It was
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And I think this puts it in perspective. Especially since this has never been done, it's never been seen like this before, right? It's never happened like this.
Never. I've never, in my like few years of tracking it, I've never seen it like this.
And so look, to put this really in perspective, this frequency and these strands are actually upgrading our DNA almost similarly to this pattern a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of theories. There's no way to know for sure, right? But what I do feel in my body is anytime these high frequency blasts come in, even when they don't look like this, there are upgrades, there are light codes being, you know, intaken by your body and changing the programs, the patterns, the sequences, essentially the frequency you're emitting, and increasing your frequency, bringing you back home to your true personal unique frequency that you came into this world with. And so, you know, what I experienced on this day was this like immense love. And it's so hard to explain, because this was like an unconditional love that I just felt for everyone, everything, every experience, every molecule, every breath that I've ever taken. And I've never felt love and gratitude so deeply than on that day. And I truly believe like that is who we all are. That is our true frequency, is just deep love and gratitude and appreciation. So
perfect. Thank you for sharing. Intuitive Warrior says the Earth's heartbeat is so amazing. I love that. The Earth's heartbeat. That's exactly what it is. What frequency the heart is beating. The Earth is beating it. That's perfect.
That's exactly right.
Oh, okay. Look, glad you brought that, because the Schumann has been the hot topic. It's been the hot topic. And so we talked a little bit about the effects that it had on us, and some things like that. You actually have a spiritual ascension kind of support group, right? Where you meet regularly with people, like just ongoing, right? To kind of go through these symptoms.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think I tell people this all the time. The number one thing that you need to have on your journey is support. You have to have support in some fashion, right? Because you will sit in your room, in your mind, going around in circles, wondering if you're crazy and having no one to validate your experience. And so my support group is free. We meet most Thursdays at 7 p.m. EST. You know, you can come on in, you could be a fly on the wall, you could talk, just listen. And all of the sessions are recorded as well. And so once you're in the group, you can watch back any of the sessions that we've had that are calling out to you. Because, go ahead.
I was gonna say, where do your sessions take place? Like, where do you?
Yeah, they're on Zoom. You know,
Zoom. Okay.
Yeah. So it's, you know, anyone is welcome. It's, I think, essential for anyone who is really struggling to navigate their journey. You can just come on in and be yourself and like hear other amazing beings going through similar situations. So, you know, you're not alone. And it's just, it's a great place to, you know, just find support, especially if you are in a situation where you feel like you can't invest right now in support.
Yeah, for sure. That's so neat that you offer that, because it's ongoing and it's going to be ongoing for some time now as everybody continues to awaken. There's going to be, maybe it'll get popularized. You think?
I do think that spirituality has become more mainstream, and I think there are positives and drawbacks to that, because I think that people see it as a fad. A lot of people see it as a fad, but I also think the light side of it is that people like me feel more empowered to speak out and express as who they really are. You know, as someone who has been into this world for a long time, right? Like I've been getting tarot readings for, you know, probably 10 years now. And like just in the like esoteric world, I feel comfortable just expressing myself and being authentic and being able to put myself out there and like bring awareness to this, right? There's so much awareness around the subject and people are really just interested. And it's like, okay, cool. I can share me and I can share my knowledge and then help usher in this new experience for the people who are just starting out on their path.
You know, shout out to the tarot card readers, because when I'm on YouTube, they are doing the darn thing, honey. When I say subscribers, views, they are killing it like regularly.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that's not where they started by any means, but they are like at the forefront right now with providing a lot of spiritual guidance. And this is what I wonder though, because I even saw you pulled out your cards.
Yeah, that's how I started.
The weird part about it is, look, I got a deck right here. Like oops, you can't see it. I got a deck that I just have never been drawn to until recently. I was like, something just said me. Then I was like, no, but look, here's my thing with the tarot card readers, because it's a divination tool. We love it. We've used it. But do you feel like, I feel like they're getting, I shouldn't say this because tarot card readers might hear this.
No, say it.
But I feel like they're going to be winding down at some point, because we're going to evolve beyond needing to look at the cards at some point. But they're useful now. I mean, the cards, you know? Ooh.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love everywhere you're going with this, because like this was my journey. And so I think there's like a couple things that I'll hit on there. Number one, I do think we'll always have tarot readers. And I always think that tarot as a divination tool will be around, because there, again, like we said, there's different waves of awakening. And I think tarot is a tool that people who are just coming out of like the dualistic kind of like level one black and white thinking can like dip their toes in, because it feels like there's like definitive answers, right? Even though it's, again, there's no right and wrong, black and white, but it's like this like bridge into the spiritual, right? But, you know, I started my social media career as a tarot reader. You know, I started my healing as a tarot reading business. And as I evolved, my services evolved. But I do think now, as I like have expanded into a more like level 2 oneness kind of like frequency, I definitely don't use them for myself anymore, right? Because I recognize that the tools outside of me don't have power. Like I am the power.
Exactly.
And like I get to hold like the keys to my journey. And so I think there will always be a place for them, because there are always going to be people who are needing to dip their toes into the water of spirituality. But I think at an individual level, that's probably why you're feeling pulled away from your cards, because you're expanding your awareness, you know, you're expanding your consciousness.
But I like that, because you're right. I have to remember we'll be at different points of awareness at all times. And you're right. Tarot cards are that bridge. They really are like, hey, here's your introduction. Let's step into it. And they are. And there's always probably be someone at that point. That's perfect, Lauren. I'm looking at it from my point of awareness and not the big picture, which you're right. You're absolutely right. Intuitive Warrior says, if we want others to be real and speak their truth, we got to lead from the front. She also says, hope the healers will wind down at some point too, as we want everyone to be able to heal from within. Okay, I hear what you're saying, but let me address something to that. Because when I first started out, let me tell you all the titles I went through.
Yeah.
You know, when I was trying to get my whole Christianity thing, you know, like you're trying to break loose from that and move into this, people were like, oh, she's a prophet. I was like, no, that don't feel right. Like, no, not that. Like, then it was like, she's a psychic. I'm like, don't fit. That doesn't feel right. And so I kept going and going. And I'm like, all I'm doing is tapping into my intuition. I kept saying, I'm not doing anything that you can't do. It's nothing miraculous. I'm not the chosen one. I'm not anointed. I'm tapping into my intuition. So it evolved into an intuitive, guide or healer. And so, because, as humans, we got to go through the title thing, right? We got to figure out who we are.
Oh, yeah.
And so by her saying, I hope the healers wind down at some point. So because everyone will be able to heal from within. I mean, it's going to be just like the tarot cards. I think you're still going to need that guide. Some people are going to need that guidance a little bit to get to the within part, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it's like saying, like, I hope therapists wind down, I hope doctors wind down, right? And I completely get what you're saying, because there are so many healers, especially on social media, that are so in your face, and it's like shoving healing down your face. And it's like, okay, like, can I just like exist? Like, that's the thing I've evolved in my practice, is really like, my message is that, like, you are enough and you are exactly as you are intended to be at this moment in time. Like, you don't have to heal anything, honestly. Like, you are you now, and you are serving a specific purpose as you now, as part of the collective. And so my job as a healer, I guess, I don't love using the term healer, but I think it's like mainstream. I love intuitive guide. I love that you are.
And I use guide for the reason you just said. I'm like,
yeah,
I need to heal you from anything. Like, I'm not a healer, right. but you're right. See, you got Lauren, look, you got a new title, girl. You got to keep changing these titles, girl.
Exactly.
Till it feels right, as we keep evolving.
Exactly. Because, like, at the end of the day, we don't fit in a box. No one fits in a box. The dualistic thinking, the black white, like, I need to fit in a box and my human experience look like this, like, that doesn't work. That doesn't work when you expand to this level of awareness. And so I've really just allowed myself to like flow through whatever I feel like I need to express as, and how I know if someone shows up in my field, in my life, in my reality, I have something to give them and I have something to receive from them. And whether it be healing, whether it be a reading, whether it just be a conversation, whether it be them listening to my podcast, whether it be just, them showing up to the support group, like, I am enough, and my title doesn't matter. And what I think I'm doing doesn't matter. It's the moment that matters. It's that energy exchange that matters.
I love it. Look, Intuitive Warrior is just going in. She has a lot of comments. Let's see.
I love it.
She says, oh, I know I'm just being idealistic. Okay. She was being idealistic when she said she hopes that the healers wind down too. Yeah.
I hear you. I do.
Yeah, right. I get it. I get it too.
Mm-hmm.
So look, you and I have had our little discussion, and this will be, I think, very useful to the people who are watching. So, you know how you go through this, you go through your awakening and you're like, okay, I got a purpose. I'm supposed to be doing something. Like, you get on the mission to find your purpose. You gotta figure it out. You gotta be of service, but you don't know how. And so then you get into your light working mode. You get, okay, I got to do this. And then while you're doing this, you get so wrapped up. I don't know about you, but it was day in, day out. I was like, okay, I'm getting messages. My husband was like, what are you doing now? I was constantly like, I'm getting messages. I'm getting this. I'm reading this and I'm looking at that. And then my life, as I knew it, was like passing by. So much so that people kept dying to get my attention, like literally dying. I kept having physical deaths in my family. And with each death came like a new trigger or a new activation for me. And it was like to get my attention, each death. And I kept saying, okay, wait, I'm missing out on my experience because I'm all into this awakening thing. Like, it's a balance, right? You got to like do both. You got to live your earthly experience and go through the awakening, go through the process.
Absolutely. It consumes you at the beginning. It consumes you, because you do have to somehow get into like a hermit mode, and like you isolate yourself. And through that isolation, you're working on your shadows, but you're also still in this like duality kind of thinking where you're like, okay, I gotta find the right answer. I gotta do it the right way. I'm gonna find the right manifestation tip so I can like get out of this, or I'm gonna, go to this shaman so he can just like get rid of the stuff. And it's this race to, I have to not feel this anymore.
Yeah.
That like consumes you. And it definitely consumed me. And so it's easy to get stuck in there. And then, as like you said, you graduate into, okay, like I'm getting a handle on this. I want to save people. I want to save people
Yeah,
from
you got to, right? You got to shake everybody and try to wake everybody up.
Yeah. Yep. And then it's right. It's like, okay, I'm like consumed by, how do I like share my gifts with the world? How do I share my light with the world? How? There again, there has to be this process. I have to do it in the right way. There has to be this, there has to be that. And honestly, it's just been over the past like few months that I've come out of that, where I recognize like, oh, this is my human experience. And yes, I serve a specific purpose, but I don't have to like run around frantic trying to be on purpose. I don't have to try to do my purpose right. Like I am my purpose. And so me just existing is absolutely enough. And it's exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And so just living my best life, living with intention, doing things that make me feel good. That is what my purpose is, because that lights the way for other people to do the same. It's not that I have to get it right and like be consumed by this light worker journey and make sure I'm like helping X amount of people every month and making X amount of dollars and like putting out X amount of videos. It's just me living in my truth and authenticity and enjoying my human experience. That is my purpose. And that's what's going to light the way for the others to follow me and follow us to back to us, back to our original frequency.
I'm glad you brought that up, because honey, that's one of the things you go through too. Am I doing this right, or am I doing it wrong?
Yeah.
Say this right. Am I say like that? You got to go through that, right? Like as if there's a right or wrong. It's not, but you got to go through it, right?
Exactly. There's no way around it. And it's part of the journey. And it's so fun when you look back at it. When you're in it, it can be so frustrating, but you will get to the other side and just share your gift authentically. I think too, this is like another point. A lot of people now are like waking up and like going through this spiritual journey. And I feel like there's pressure to go into like a spiritual profession, if that makes sense. Like, that's why I think there's so many healers and so many psychics and so many, like, I think a lot of people, especially over the next year to 5-year cycle, are going to recognize like, oh, they're being called somewhere else, because spirituality is something personal to you, but you can share your light while being a singer, while working a corporate job, while being a doctor, whatever it is. You can be spiritual, but it doesn't have to be your like front facing profession. And I think, a lot of people are going to start to come to that realization that we all have our own unique soul blueprint. And so all our job is to follow what our soul is telling us to do and where to go.
Well, let me get to these comments, honey, because they're going a mile a minute. Okay, so Elisa says, I feel like I found my purpose from doing shadow work, not actually trying to figure it out, but God led me to it. She's also studying to be a Reiki master. So you got any tips? We'll take them. She said, now the how is the biggest hurdle now. Getting out of my comfort zone is, that's a big one. That's a big one. Getting out of comfort. Well, look, Elisa, you're working towards being a Reiki master. I don't know how far you are in the process, but how did you get into Reiki, Lauren? Like maybe we can some parallels.
Yeah, for sure. So I had my Kundalini, and that same week found my spiritual mentor. She is the owner of the Ascension Healing Arts Center in Michigan. And she had an intuitive development course and a Reiki level 1 and 2 course happening like the following week. And I was just like feeling called to just jump in. And so that's what I did. I jumped in, and then I made it all the way to Reiki Master, like a year and a half later. And it's
What is the process for that? I'm just curious, like to be Reiki master, do you have to take certain number of Reiki courses, or how does that go?
Yeah, it's essentially Reiki 1, 2, 3, and then master.
Oh,
So,
okay. Okay.
yep. Essentially it depends on the school and where you're at of how long it'll take. But, I did 1 and 2 together, and then I did 3 and Reiki master.
Okay.
So I think the biggest advice that I would give for studying for your Reiki master is just don't feel like you're being held to like the textbook way of doing things. I loved all of the people that were in my class because I got to see all of the different ways that they tapped into like Reiki energy and like cultivating energy through the process of Reiki in different ways. Like, there is no standard one size fit all, especially when it comes to energy. Your energy is something that's so personal to you. And so if, your teacher is telling you to make the Seha key symbol this way, and you're feeling like your body wants to do it like this, or you're feeling like you don't even need your hands to use the symbols, like you do what feels right for you, because your own personal gifts that you came into this world with are being activated through you taking this course. And I would never want anyone to get like confined by like the textbook rules of Reiki, and really kind of just stifle what they have to offer.
Perfect. Elisa says that's exactly how she felt. Oh, she said Dawn recommended I do it. It was in one of her sessions.
Cool.
One of her spirit guides mentioned that, and she said she had never heard of it during the session with she and I. She said, but the first session was so natural that she knew it was for her because it was automatically, yeah.
That's amazing.
Perfect. That was great. And then Intuitive Warrior says, I love your commentary. She says we shouldn't have to try, just being in the moment, being who we are, and the universe will flow through us. Yes, Lauren, she agrees. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
She says, excellent advice that you gave. Also, she's a Reiki practitioner and she brings her own inner guidance into it. So you're right. No cookbook, like go with how you feel, right? Go with the flow.
Exactly. I love that.
I love that too. This is neat. Lisa says she's being led to learn how she wants to do it. She's been led to 2 books that have introduced her more to the Japanese ways. She says, thank you for the confirmation.
Yeah, you're so welcome. I think the last thing I'll say to that, because I think she said something about the how. Yeah. Like, don't worry about the how. That's the actual one part that we don't have to worry about, I think, when it comes to manifestation and bringing something into the physical, right? Like, kind of like what we talked about in the beginning, like my mentor, my therapist, they all came in at the exact right time. Like I found my mentor days within my Kundalini awakening. I had no idea my Kundalini was going to awaken. Like, what are the odds of that? You know what I mean? And so the how is not what we have to worry about. It's really just setting forth the intention. Like, hey, I want to do X, Y, and Z. And then you'll wake up one day and everything will just fall into place. So don't worry.
Again, I'm speaking from experience, but I know the people who will pay lots and lots of money to get Kundalini activations and, those kind of things. And mine happened. I didn't know what was happening. Actually, it just kind of happened spontaneously, but I just wonder, is that, intentionally, we're so tapped in now, frequency wise. I just don't think all that's needed. I think you can just set the intention to activate it and watch it work. Let it go,
Totally. Like, don't get me started on the healers who like promise essentially to activate your Kundalini. I think it's so reckless, and I think it's I have a whole podcast about this, but
I can imagine. Because I'm there with you. I am there with you.
Oh yeah. Like, your Kundalini will only activate exactly when it's supposed to. You can't do things to awaken it. You can't go see someone to try and activate it. You can't stop it if it's going to, like, it is so divinely guided. It is like one of the most divinely guided things that can ever happen in this like plane of existence. And so I tell people, please don't force it. Don't force any kind of spiritual awakening. This is the shadow part, I think, of like spirituality being like mainstream now. There's so many people that are like, I want to awaken. I want to open my third eye. I want to meet my twin flame. I want to do all these things. And I think the media kind of like glamorizes and glorifies like these awakenings and this spiritual path, and people aren't actually aware of like what goes into it and how divinely guided it is, and so don't try and force your spiritual awakening. Do not try and activate your Kundalini. You are exactly as you are intended to be at this point. Like, don't do it.
It's starting. Let me tell you, in the beginning of my awakening, there were certain words I wouldn't say because I was just scared. And it was light worker, starseed, like all that kind of stuff. I was like, I ain't saying that because people gonna say I'm at the new age stuff, and they're gonna be like, talking about me and I'm a witch, and so I stayed away from those words. But look, it's kind of cool now to be a starseed. Like, people are always like, am I a starseed? How can you tell if you're a starseed? Like, and I'm just looking at the change in the collective as it relates to these words, and I'm like, whoa, this is moving forward.
So quickly too, right?
Yeah.
Like, so quickly. It is wild to see. People are really expanding their minds, and it is happening so fast. And I think it happening so fast is proof that there is this like energetic shift happening, right? It feels like we woke up, we went to bed, woke up, and it was the pandemic. And then, people just overnight shifting into place. And I think we're starting to see that again with this second wave. And I think that it's just going to continue and continue and continue elevating and shifting in, towards the utopia we see in our minds as light workers.
Yeah, for sure. You guys get your questions in, because Lauren and I are going to be winding down in a moment. This was so fast. Didn't it go by fast?
Fast. It was so fun.
And look, and we just kind of touched the surface. This was like, let's get to know Lauren. Like, we didn't even get all down deep into like the nitty gritty of this whole thing. Which is why I've already talked to her, you guys, ahead of time about coming back, because there are some more topics that we could go a little bit more in depth with. This is just kind of a surfacey introduction, so to speak, because I know a lot of people are experiencing stuff right now. And I'm not greedy with it. I don't want everybody just Dr. Dawn. Look, I'm trying to give you all the resources you need. I mean, Lauren is magnificent. We're going to give her information in the comment section. I'm going to pin it. And then, let me let you talk about this right now. What are some of the services you offer? You told us in the beginning about the support group. The support group. And then, you didn't. I don't think I gave you an opportunity. Go a little bit more in depth about what you offer. We know you do Reiki. Got that.
Yeah. So like I said, free support group. We meet most Thursdays. That's a great way to just like dip your toes into the community. And then from there, if you want to go entry level stuff, I have an amazing Spiritual Ascension 101 crash bundle that includes a grounding quantum healing and a low frequency emotion clearing quantum healing, where you'll just have these. You can listen to them anytime you feel ungrounded. If you're having trouble grounding yourself, these are on-demand energetic healings that are like essentially experiencing a healing with me live, just coded into a point in space time. So that is on sale right now for $49. And then from there, if you want to invest a little further, I do have an Elevate membership, which is a great intro program. If you are a newbie on this journey, it's a month-to-month membership that includes monthly step-by-step action plans that essentially help you take this spiritual high-level knowledge and ground it in a very practical way where you can take steps every day. And there are plans like spiritual hygiene routine, emotional regulation, soul blueprint activation, things that will actually help you assimilate and navigate to these energies.
Mm.
So that you can tap in. That's a month-to-month membership. And then, high level is my private one-on-one sessions. If you want to get into quantum healing, get into a discovery session, we'll scan your field, we'll see what programs, patterns, and sequences that you're running that are essentially working against you. You can set a goal, whether it be around career, whether it be around family life, whether it be about stepping into your purpose or manifesting money, whatever it is. We'll see what's going on in your field that is preventing you from allowing your desired reality to manifest. And essentially, like, I describe it as like a fast track, right? Because you're going to get to where you're going regardless of me. I am simply someone who is going to hold you accountable and fast track your growth through quantum healing. It's like plucking you up from here and then placing you into your desired reality. So if you want to invest in that fast track to get to your desired reality, quantum healing is the way to go.
That is excellent. I love how you said that, because everybody knows me, and I'm always so anti-attachment. I'm like, don't form attachments to me, because look, you're not going to need me to do what so yeah. I'm glad that you emphasize you're going to do this regardless, I'm going to hold you accountable. That's, see, we're so right here. We are so right there, Lauren. You guys thought I was a lot of people think I'm being mean when I say that. I'm like, I'm not. I'm trying to tell you guys, I'm being real with you guys, like honest. For sure.
I think that's what makes a good leader, a good healer, a good guide is someone who will not allow their clients to give them power, right? Like, I'm like, don't give me your power. I'm going to teach you how to be the leader of your own life. And then we'll work together for 3 months, 6 months, a year, however long you want to work together. And then I'm going to let you go, like fly, it's like, I thrive when my clients thrive. Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. You guys are quiet over in the chat. I guess they're on a little bit of a delay. So I was just trying to see if they had anything in response to what we just said. Lauren, this has been so much fun. You have been such a great guest. Yay. Yay.
Thank you so much for having me. This was amazing.
For sure. I'm going to let maybe a little time go past before I bring you back, because I don't want to welcome and be like, okay, girl, come back. But just so you know, I think this has been very informative. I think you are the piece that a lot of people who are on this live and watching the replay will latch on to. Her information, you guys, her name of her entire business is called My House Healing. And so it was hilarious because you gave me the background of why it's called that, because you guys, she likes being in the house. Unlike me, who I'm always like, I got to get out and about with the people. Lauren likes to do business from her house. So she, you can contact her on Instagram, TikTok.
YouTube. Info at My House Healing is my email. At My House Healing on all social platforms. And then my podcast is called Healing at My House on all streaming platforms.
Okay. So I'm going to put that, you guys, in the comment section. I'm going to pin it so you guys can, link up with her. If you feel drawn to it, if she resonates with you, which I'm sure she will. And so you guys have been great in the chat. Thank you so much for all of your comments and questions. And they're saying absolutely to what you said. Yes, intention is the key, and being open without expectation and labels. Absolutely. Absolutely. You guys are awesome. They've been phenomenal. So, okay. So Lauren, we are going to say bye-bye to you. I'm going to click you out, and then I'm going to say some goodbyes to my people. And then if you don't have anything to do right after this, I may just contact you on Instagram real quick for a video call, just real fast.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
You are so welcome. You're coming back, right?
Definitely. I will definitely be back.
Yay. Okay. Well, until next time, my darling, I will see you next
time. Bye.
Bye-bye. Let's see. Do I click you off or do you click off? Let's see.
I think I'll click off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you click off, but don't get me confused.
All right. Bye, you guys.
Bye-bye. Okay, you guys. Okay, that was so good. Like, I love her. We are so in alignment. And I know that we were spiritually and divinely connected because we are just in sync. But that doesn't mean that only people who are in sync with me are allowed to come on Mystical Monday. You guys know I've had people on here that aren't in sync with me. Okay, so I just want you guys to know, if you could please like this video, if it resonated with you, please give me some thumbs up, like and subscribe this video. Can you please do that so we can increase get the algorithm going so I can push this information out to more individuals who are going through this awakening and ascension process, and this information could benefit. I also want to remind you guys that I am doing one-on-one sessions. Please visit my website at www.discoveringyourinnerlight.com. I'm going to have my information as well in the comments section pinned. And you guys know I'm on all platforms. Well, not all, no more Facebook for me, but I'm on Instagram and TikTok at Discovering Your Inner Light. Come on, you guys, make sure you follow me as well. Thank you guys for being so active. And Intuitive Warrior, thank you. She says, nice vibes today. I think so too. That energy was so good today. I love it. Love it. So you guys, please come back next week. We'll have another episode. Can't tell you if I'm going to have a guest or not. I don't know. But you guys make sure you come back 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here at Discovering Your Inner Light on YouTube. Until next time, bye-bye.